There should be birds here ready for the shooting season, but this shoot on Salisbury Plain is in limbo because of the chaos surrounding general licences. DEFRA announced a last-minute change, which means shoots near some protected sites need a licence to release birds. PACEC says the new rules affect hundreds of shoots. PACEC Chief Executive Ian Bell says his shoot, which has been operating on Salisbury Plain for more than 100 years, could close if it doesn't get a licence.
There's a good chance we'll have to make our keeper redundant. So the implications of that for him are obvious, anyone losing their job. For us, it's a whole raft of money down the drain. We've been here for nearly 100 years and we've done an awful lot of work to try and make this place as beautiful as it currently is. We're part of the whole military infrastructure here. This is here as a military training area, but we get licence in order to shoot and to do our conservation work, so that will take an impact.
MP Greg Smith says the government needs to take urgent action to tackle the crisis.
It's a real mess and we need to get it sorted rapidly because actually, if nothing else, think about the animal welfare of all of those birds. If they can't be released, they're alive, they exist. What on earth is going to happen to all of those birds if they can't be released and then shot to get them into the food chain for people to eat that delicious game meat? The government clearly were thinking about this at the start of the year. It wasn't until a couple of weeks ago that any indication of any change whatsoever started to come through to shoots around the country.
DEFRA claims the risk of bird flu is the reason for the 11th hour change, which is endangering hundreds of shoots and thousands of jobs. But gamekeepers say the data the decision was based on is outdated as it's from last year.
They just seem to be using that as an excuse, I think. There's been no documented case where game birds have brought in avian influenza onto an estate or onto any ground. There's been documented cases of pheasants and partridges catching it. There's just one thing after another. It just seems like it's just another attack on shooting.
Only a handful of shoots out of hundreds of applications have been granted a licence so far. Even those that have say the licence restricts them from releasing birds until September. PACEC is going to fight these decisions. PACEC and other Fieldsports groups have joined forces to seek a judicial review over DEFRA's failure to issue the GL43 general licence because it puts hundreds of gamekeepers' jobs at risk.
Rather sadly, the keeper for a neighbouring shoot, they got the news either the beginning of this week or the end of last week that they were not going to get an individual licence. That chap broke down because of the amount of effort and work that he's put into this on the back of a COVID season and a season last year where we hardly had any birds because of the impact of AI. And we believe this is the precautionary principle being overly applied and not particularly well thought through.
Norfolk gamekeeper Stephen Musk is one of hundreds still waiting. He says if his licence doesn't arrive in time, his shoot may fold. He could lose his job and his whole family will suffer too.
Obviously family, it would be upheaval, moving house and possibly moving complete communities. So that's obviously a big issue. The local community, we do employ several people, the beaters, everyone. It's a little community in itself out in the countryside. It gets people out and that would be lost as well.
Fieldsports groups warn if shoots go, the countryside will change forever, as the vital conservation work gamekeepers do will go too.